Hello, everyone. This is Paola Guthrie from Creating Purpose with Pao, and I welcome you to the Spanglish World Network and her network in Single TV channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download Single TV app on the respective app stores. The app is totally free, and we can find Single TV in Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV Stick, Roku Stick, and all smart TVs from 2016 and forward. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Today we have a very special guest in the house. She has her own TV show where she brings a lot of value to moms, the new moms or moms that are about to be, and she inspires them to be more in different ways through their motherhood. So her name is Jo Peters. She is the unicorn coach, and I welcome you to our home today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Pao. It's been so fun to be able to be here with you and your audience and talk a little bit about creating purpose together and change the world.
Yes. So please, tell our beautiful audience like what your TV show is about. What is your passion, and so we all get to know you a little bit more.
Okay, so I am originally from Colombia and I am
Colombia
right
in
now
the house.
Colombia in the house, Cali,
Yes.
Colombia in the house. If you are from Colombia, leave us a message telling us what part of the country you are. And I moved to the United States in 2012. I was working for Goodyear, and then I worked for Goodyear and PepsiCo, Fortune 100 companies for over 15 years. Traveled the world, 25 countries, four continents, being an executive coach for the leaders and their teams. And then in 2019, I felt that there was something else that I could make a bigger impact, not getting into the machine of corporate America, but actually helping women to be empowered and to build a life that they want. And I am the unicorn coach for two reasons. The first one is I have a very special balance between, because I'm an engineer by background, I studied engineering and was in manufacturing for many years. The logic, step by step, checklist, organizational skills of the right side of the left side of the brain, and then I also have all that creativity, flow, intuition of the right side of the brain of the brain. So I am an unicorn because I can meet the people that I work wherever they are, no matter if they are left brain or right brain. But then also a unicorn because, Paul, I believe that we all have magic inside of us and that we are all unicorns. I think that the problem is society make us forget that we have that horn, that magic horn that make us unicorns, and then we start acting like plain horses in the field. So I am the unicorn coach because I help moms, working moms, usually type A, perfectionist working moms, to remember that magic, to claim back that power of owning their own magic, and from there being able to create the life of their dreams in their own terms.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. I mean, we all need a little bit of that magic, right? We all need a little bit of to be reminded that we are special, that we are talented, that we get to and have the opportunity to express those beautiful talents. And today, I know we're going to continue with this beautiful content, archetypes. I know we had a old show a few weeks ago and internet wasn't working, headphones were not working. But tonight we're here and you are going to educate us about unicorns, but archetypes. So, what are archetypes and why are they important to understand so that we get to know ourselves better and align to, our goals and purpose?
So I always been fascinated with personality types, and even when I was in corporate America, I was all into personality types and all the HR perspective to create teams. And I found the archetypes a few years ago, and they really changed my life. And that is why I love to leverage them now with my clients. and that is the concept of your personality. Everybody's personality is divided in 8 different archetypes of personality traits. And the reality is, and the big difference between my work and other people's work is a lot of people concentrate on the top one or the top three ones
Okay.
as labeling that is who you are, that is what show up for you. The reality is we all have the 8 archetypes. The difference between you, Pau, and me and everybody else is in the first, between the second trimester when our mothers were pregnant. So as soon as our moms get into the third trimester of pregnancy, up to 7 years old, everything in our environment, how we were growing up, our family, our social conditions, all of that influence for some of those archetypes to become stronger in order to allow us to survive. So it's very unique of how each of us grow up and our circumstances. And then of the eight of the archetypes, we all have them all eight, but normally each of us had three of them that are the strongest ones. And because they are the strongest ones, they show up more often and they show up stronger when we are triggered, when we are making decisions, when we are building our lives. So this is actually completely groundbreak work because the majority of the gurus, coaches, mentors, the big names, Tony Robbins, all of these big names, they all are very strong into 3 archetypes. Why that is a big deal? Because there is other 5 archetypes. And that is what it happened with us when we hear all of these gurus and mentors and we are like, yeah, I need to do it like they say. And we try really hard and we put all our energy and money and intention on doing it the way that they told us that it worked for them.
Mhm.
And then it doesn't. And then we go back into our room thinking and feeling, what is wrong with me? They told me that it worked for them.
Mhm.
I tried, it didn't work for me. So there has to be something wrong with me. And that is what my purpose is into making everybody understand there is nothing wrong with you. Is if you are trying to follow a recipe that was not meant for your archetypes, that was not meant for your unique strengths, it's not going to work. So instead of trying to copy paste what those gurus, mentors, coaches, leaders are telling you to do, start knowing yourself. What are your archetypes? What are your strengths? What are your 3 strongest ones? And then from there, create a unique plan that works for you, for your own magic. And then from there, build the life that you dream.
That is beautiful. And you're right on that point, because you're talking about what is our, my survival mechanism might be way different than your survival mechanism because we were raised by two different parents. We were raised in two different places, right? So during my first, like you're talking about the second trimester and the first 7 years of life, that's where we kind of program what our survival mechanism will be. And whenever we get triggered, whenever we have to make a decision, whenever we get to build our life, then we default to that behavior that it has been programmed for many, many years, right at the beginning of our life. And this is something that, like, I didn't know, before I enter into the world of self development. I have no clue that my behavior was based on a survival mechanism.
And I think that that is the game changer. I was actually a guest in another podcast, another show yesterday, and we were talking about that. Is the first step that I believe we all need to make is stop being so hard with ourselves. Stop judging ourselves. Stop criticizing ourselves. Stop wishing that we were different. Oh, I don't know what I do this. What is wrong with me? I always do
Yeah.
this. And then actually do what you said, Pau, is tapping into deep gratitude, understanding that those reactions, that those patterns, that those behaviors are nothing but the best way that you found to survive early on in life. And then from that perspective, when we see it with gratitude, then we are able to say, okay, instead of pushing it and fighting it and being hard with ourselves, we see, oh, back then that was the best way that I needed to survive. But now the 40-year-old version of me had other tools, had other options. So from a perspective of gratitude, I can be grateful for that and also show myself that there are different ways to survive now that will be probably more aligned or more supportive with where I am in life.
How have they built you? Like how knowing the archetypes has helped you as, as a woman in build those relationships that you have?
So the initial thing is before you start learning about the archetypes, it's very easy for us to be living life from a disempower, disengaged way. Almost like this is what I do, and these are the actions that I take, and this is who I am. And then get into that guilt and that in that guilt and that remorse into, oh, I did this, I should know better. But how it changed for me is I really love to work with these with my clients, and is yeah, we have 8 archetypes. Yes, 3 of them are the strongest ones. And what happened for the majority of people is that those 3 strongest ones are the ones that make over 95% of the decisions in your lives.
Wow.
So going back into my corporate world, I create this model where we see it almost like a board of directors. So each of these 8 archetypes are a chair in that board of directors room.
Okay.
And what we sometimes forget is that we are the CEO. None of those archetypes, even the 2 strongest ones, are the CEO. What happened is that because we don't know that, because we don't have the tools to claim a role, we give our CEO chair to those archetypes and they run our lives. And sometimes we even believe that that is who we are. So, how knowing them and start personificating them and giving them clarity, I gain back my life because now, in every decision, in every circumstance that I have in my life, I am able when they start jumping because you said very good. Those 3 that are the strongest, they were the one that keep us alive, that make us survive early on. So their job is keeping us alive. So whenever we feel in danger, they are the first ones that jump and say, don't worry, I got it. This is what we are going to do. But
Mhm.
now that I am aware of that, I can claim my role as a CEO and say, hey, thank you. I'm going to take your advice and I'm going to take your opinion, but you are not going to run the show. You are not going to make the decisions. I am the CEO of my life and I want to hear you, but I also want to hear the rest of the board. And then I start living my life like the CEO of any successful company will. And that is, as a CEO, I take the decisions and I have a very trusty board of directors that all of them give me advice, perspective, opinion, and experience but against what they know the best.
Beautiful. And one thing that comes to my mind is that once we figure out what our best behavior will be, like whenever we have that split of a second, there is a phrase from Viktor Frankl that he says response between the stimulus and the response there is a gap, and in that gap we have the power to choose, right? So as we're educating ourselves, like right now we're educating ourselves with archetypes, right? Once we get to know the archetypes and we get to know ourselves and accept ourselves and be like, okay, yeah, I grew up this way, this is my uh, defense mechanism, and it's not serving me. You become to the realization that it might not be serving you in your marriage, it might not be serving you as a mom It might not be serving you as a coworker, but once you realize that it's hurting you instead of helping you, then you work on that commitment to default to your best behavior. And even better, when we learn to be, to default to our best behavior, then we give others the opportunity, to we give them grace, because that happened to me just this last weekend. Like someone tried to make me feel this way, and I'm like, okay, that's their survival mechanism, and it hurt at first, but I'm like, let it go. It's like, I know better. It's like, just let it go. It took me a couple of hours to really think about it, and I let it go. But then we have that extra, that we can give grace to others based on their behavior. So that's what came to my mind, and I had to share. What does that happen to you as well, Joe?
Absolutely. And I think that, like you were saying, is completely true. It gives us that power back. It gives us that empowerment and that security that what we need is internal, and that everybody around us is just doing projections, and the only thing that we can control is how we react to it. We cannot change what they do, we cannot change what they say, we can change how we react. And that is why it's so important to find our archetypes, because I'll tell you how a person that had a very strong nurturer or connector react is going to be very different to how a ruler or a maverick strong personality will react. And that is important because society is giving us so much judgment about how we react. Like, for example, I was talking with a client that had a very romantic archetype, and she was getting close to her period. She was feeling low. She wanted to just watch TV and stay in the couch. And she was feeling guilty about it. And she was saying, oh, I am lazy. I'm being lazy for this. And because we know her archetypes, I was like, okay, are you really being lazy, or is your romantic archetype wanting you to slow down and enjoy the pleasure of what you are feeling? And then she was like, oh my God, yes, it's totally that. It's not that I'm lazy. And I think that that is where we have that power of not letting society and something external to us to label us and put us in a box into what we are. We are um, lazy, or we are bossy, or we are weak. No, when we start learning actually those archetypes, we start feeling empowering to being able to say, there is nothing wrong with me. These are just my archetypes. And as you have your strengths with these other archetypes, my archetypes had other strengths. And that doesn't mean that you or me are wrong. That just means that we are different. And because we are different, we have different superpowers that we need to allow to shine together.
That is beautiful. Yes. And you work with moms. So I think guilt comes in the package when you become a mom. And learning to navigate with, a recognized guilt, and then questioning, is it okay? How can we make sense of this emotion that I am experiencing right now? So, yeah. So, could you please share with us the 8 archetypes, so our beautiful audience who is here tonight and have not heard the eight archetypes can become familiar, just in case they're curious, just in case, this might serve you in your relationship with your husband, your kids, co-workers.
I think that is game changer. And one of the things of when you start learning more about the archetypes, you start starting to think, oh, what archetypes are my children? What archetypes are my husband? What archetypes are my coworkers? And that helps us to have those relationships a lot better. So of the 8 of them, we have some of them that are very male masculine energy, and then we have some that are very female energy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say them in alphabetical order because that's the easiest way for me to not forget about any of them. We're going to start with the accumulators. Accumulators are a very male energy, and they are very, very good at details, at data, at having all the information together. They are the ones that sometimes are titled and labeled as rigid, because they are the ones that follow all the steps and all the instructions, and are the ones that never do something outside what is right. Very male energy. Then from there, we go into the alchemist. Alchemists are a very female energy, very flowy energy. And the alchemists are what I call the channels of the universe. They are very good with ideas. So normally alchemists are the people that are always having brilliant ideas, that are always coming up with something new. If they are entrepreneurs, they are always have a new business to run. But because of that, they are the generators of ideas. They are, I call them the doulas of the world. Their job is just channel and give birth to ideas. And because of that, sometimes they get mislabeled as they never finish things, because they get really bored with things. So they get really excited. For example, if I want alchemist, I will say, Pow, I have this great idea for this show. It's going to be epic. And you're going to be, okay, let's do it. And in a month, I'm going to be like, oh, that's so boring. I am already thinking in three other projects. I don't want to do that show anymore.
Okay.
So they actually get a lot of pain, because society is being very built into doing and pushing and performing and finishing things, but their own energy is not about finishing things. They are the starters. They are the ones that start things, and then they need to give that to somebody else that finish it. They are not here in this world to finish things. They are here to give birth to things. So that is the alchemist. Then we have the celebrities. The celebrities are also a male energy, and the celebrities are all about that leadership, about being the center of attention. The ones that are usually super magnetic, that everybody wants to be around them, that everyone to want to hear them. Everybody wants to hear them and follow them. And they also have this a lot of pressure from society, because we live in a world that is all about being humble, and the puppy syndrome, and you cannot have an ego. So they tend to camouflage very good, because they are embarrassed of their own nature. By nature, they are the stars. They are the ones that get in a room and they just light the room. But they learn very early on age that that was not safe, that people was criticizing them. It was going to judge them. So they hold themselves back. Then we have the connectors, and the connectors are a very female energy. The connectors are all about relationships. Connectors are the ones that want to make sure that everyone is okay, that everyone is the same. Usually we see connectors when we see the ones that are defending others. Like when you are saying, like, the people that is willing to get in a fight to defend another person, or the person that normally in a course is complain about something and say, like, this doesn't happen to me but may happen to others. That energy is the energy of empathy, is the energy of connecting, is the energy of being very aware of the importance of the relationships and the connection with others. So those are four. Then we go into the nurturers. And the nurturers are other female energy. The nurturers, like the name said, are the nurturers of the world. They are the motherhood. They are the one that take care of others. They are the one that help others. They are 100% all the time looking into how they can help others. Normally, they are very empathic. So they feel very strong everything around them, even if it's not their own feelings. And because of that, they tend with the connectors to be the two archetypes that struggle the most with healthy boundaries. because they don't have healthy boundaries, because they are so into helping others, into connecting others, into supporting, that normally they end being last. They end, I always say that every yes require a no. And then what happened with the connectors and the nurturers is that they say yes to everybody else, so they stay with all the no's at the end of the day. So those are the nurturers. Then we have the mavericks. The mavericks are of male energy, and the mavericks are the rebels of the world. They are the ones that think fast, like speed, like adrenaline. Those are usually the danger junkies. Usually, mavericks are the ones that you see jumping out of those crazy bridges and doing those crazy things that a lot of us will never be able to do. Those are the mavericks. The mavericks are also the ones that are rebels. The ones that, if you tell them, over there you're going to have issues, they're like, watch me, I'm not going to have issues, I'm going to figure out. So they are the rebels, and they also have a very pure desire for justice and equality. So usually they are the ones that are fighting for people less blessed than them, are the ones that are thinking out of the box and creating new things. Like, for example, one of the examples is Richard Branson is a maverick. Like those minds that are always thinking outside the box, always pioneers in what they want, because they are just that,
Yeah.
the rebels. They go against what everybody else is going.
Wow.
So those are the mavericks. And then the last two are our romantics and our rulers. So our romantics are a female energy, and the romantics are all about pleasure, all about making things easy, all about beauty, about enjoying, about flow. So usually romantics are the ones that are bad label as the cheaters, because they're like, the romantics are always saying, how we can find a detour to make this faster so we can
Okay.
enjoy. So the romantics are always the ones that are trying to think how I can make the work as easy as possible, as fast as possible, so I can enjoy more.
Okay.
And they are usually labeled like that, but they are so powerful when they are embraced, because they are the one that teach us that it can be joyful, it can be pleasurable, it can be easy. And then the last ones are the rulers. I'm a strong ruler, and the rulers are the perfectionists, go 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 type of people. The type A people, they normally are workaholics. They normally are all into working really hard, and they're the ones that think no pain no gain. We need to earn what we have, and it's a very male energy as well. And then if you start seeing the A that I told you, you can see that over 90% of our society, leaders and gurus and coaches are a mix between rulers, accumulators, and celebrities. And the three of them are actually male energies.
Oh, wow.
So why that create a disbalance? Because all these female energies, like the connector, the nurturer, the alchemist, are not easily represented in our society, and then goes into what we were talking before, of that feeling of what is wrong with me, why they can do things like they do and I can't, because they are different than you, honey. You will never be able to do things like a ruler if you're a nurturer. You're never going to be able to do things like an accumulator if you're a romantic. It just doesn't work.
Can they learn though? Can they learn from the ruler? Can they learn from that romantic how to maybe bring that nurturing, into themselves in that relationship? Okay.
Absolutely. That is why in my program, I create that concept of the board of directors. You have
Oh,
all of
okay.
them inside of you. You have three that are the strongest ones. You can start working to develop the other five. The issue is you need to do that without fighting the three strongest ones. That is what we normally try to do. We normally try to say, "Oh, I don't like to be a perfectionist and go go go, so I'm gonna stop doing that, and instead I'm gonna focus on my romantic." that will never work, because those three strongest ones are the ones that are there to keep you alive, the ones that develop to make you survive. So if you push, they are going to push back even stronger. So absolutely, you can learn to tap into those other energies. The key secret is doing it while you still give those three top archetypes the space and the importance that they need, and that you actually are aware of them. So it's not about you replacing one archetype with other, it's more about you balancing them and getting to a point where you are like, oh, for example, in my case, I am a ruler, accumulator, nurturer. So those are the three that are the most strong with me. Now, last year and this year, I've been trying to tap a lot more into my alchemist and my romantic. That doesn't mean that I push my ruler and I don't work and I'm not going to be perfectionist. I do that, and then I also say, hey, and I want to tap into this energy of the romantic. How we can do this as perfect as possible in the most effective way from the romantic. Hi, romantic, help me to do this a little easier. Help me to do this a little faster. Hey, alchemist, let's gonna bring a little bit of magic here so things show up easier for us. So absolutely, we can tap into the other five. The challenge is we need to do that without making the top three feeling threat, because then it's going to backfire. Then you're going to have that internal fight that is going to create frustration. That
Of
makes
course,
sense?
and this brings me to sometimes, and you all beautiful audience, think about it. Sometimes we are in conflict with our own values. We want to go after our goal, we want to go after our dreams, but if you are a connector and people are not connecting with you because they don't agree with your goal or they don't know about your goal, then you suffer. You know what I mean? It's like you're going after, let's say you mentioned the ruler, that's the first one that comes to my mind. An accumulator probably will try to go after their dreams, right? And if you have another strong one, which is connector, but people don't understand, that you might want to go and pursue a new career, then you're going to suffer. And there's the conflicts that we have sometimes with, I guess this is what I'm learning with your own archetypes, right? That they're within you.
Absolutely. And that is when you hear things like, what is wrong with me? I have these voices. I have one of my one-on-one clients had a very strong mix because she had a very strong ruler and she have also a very strong romantic. So inside her mind, she's having that struggle almost every week because her ruler is like, go, 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 keep working, get more work. Let's gonna push. And then her romantic is like, no, we need a day off, we need a massage, we need to just watch friends all day. And then her ruler is like, you are such a lazy bitch. And I cannot believe you are such a loser, lazy. And then her romantic is like, you are such a dictator. I'm tired. We are not your slaves. Why knowing about the archetypes give us a lot of power? Because now she doesn't have to believe that she needs to pick either or. She doesn't have to pick into, oh, what is wrong with me? I'm getting crazy. Two voices that are so separate. Now what she does when she works with me is she sit down in her CEO chair and say, okay, advisor ruler, tell me what you think. How is it feeling this week? Advisor romantic. And then she's able to see that both of them had a piece that is right and correct, and then that she can make a decision that support them both and that help them as a whole to grow and go better.
Okay, beautiful. I'm thinking of relationships now. That it is within us. Let's just say we grew up in a household where love was not was not shown with affection. There was no hugs. There was between mom and dad. There was not that much affection. And now here you are as an adult you might want to be the romantic. You might want to develop that romantic that you see in movies, or maybe you witness someone, and it's not the strong one, right? Maybe the ruler is, no, it has to be this way because this is how I grew up, right? And then inviting that side, waking up that the romantic within you to build that marriage, to build motherhood at a different level than the one it was shown to you when you were 7 years old. That's what I'm like, oh wow. It's like sometimes we might be stuck in one or two, like you're mentioning, maybe three, that is ruling our life. Now tonight you're here to for us to ask ourselves, you know, is my behavior serving me? How is that relationship with my husband? How is that relationship with my kids? How is that relationship with my mom or those near you all? Begin to think, and go back to how you grew up, because most likely you're repeating the pattern. And if it's serving you, good. But if it's not, now we know, that you can develop other behaviors, other patterns that are within you already.
And I don't have a lot of research on this. So this is really a hypothesis more than anything else because I'm just starting research on this. But I believe, based on what I've been seeing with my clients and people around, that normally our partners and our kids and our closest family are either archetypes that are similar to us. For example, my husband is an accumulator, connector, nurturer. So we have two in common. Or they are the ones that are the less high in us. And the reason for that is because it's an opportunity for us to develop them. So, what a better way to develop for me the celebrity of the romantic than with my son being a romantic or a celebrity. So, I really believe, and this is a hypothesis, that with the relationship, like we were talking before, as soon as you start learning, you start saying, how's my husband behaving? I will actually tell you a story now that we're talking about relationships. When I start doing this, I send the quiz to my husband. I was like, oh, answer this. And he replied back as ruler, accumulator, nurturer. And I was like, that is so weird. That is so weird. Like he doesn't have ruler energy at all. And then I was like, first, he doesn't have that ruler energy. Second, so weird that it is exactly the same like me. 2 days pass, and then I realized that he answered like if it was me. So he answered like guessing what I would choose. So then it makes a lot of sense. Literally was my archetypes: ruler, accumulator, nurturer. And then when he was like, oh, I thought that I had to answer like you. Let me answer it again. Then when he answered, it was accumulator, nurturer, connector. That makes a lot of sense for him. But the point of that is those are all tools to help us to relate better with the people that we love, to create that purpose with our family, with our friends, with our spouse, with our kids, with our employees, with our boss, with our companies, with our community. Because from there, what allows to do is understand that even when we are all unique and we all have that unique magic, we also all are connected and have similarities that we can use to anchor those relationships.
That is awesome. How we get challenged by our siblings, our kids, our spouse, to be more of what it needs to be developed. The romantic side, the connector. Maybe we need to be more like a ruler, or an alchemist, like you were saying. So it is fascinating. It is fascinating to learn that we all have, excuse me, are very unique personality traits. That's how you call them. And how we can, like, I don't really know about archetypes, to be honest. I've heard of archetypes before in different trainings, but my attention has not really been drawn until now that you're talking about it. But still, it's like I have learned about human behavior, and I know the learning about human behavior has really helped me become a better wife, a better mom for my kids. So, what has been like one of your biggest aha moments from learning the archetypes that had influenced your life as a mom or as a wife?
I think that they are a confirmation that we can have it all, that we can have anything that we want when we honor ourselves and when we know ourselves good enough to understand that we don't have to do it all, and to understand, even more important, that we don't have to do it like anybody else. So I think that is it's been game changer for me and for my clients and for the community to use it as a wake up call of saying, stop trying to fix yourself. There is nothing wrong with you. You actually can live the life that you want, that you dream, that you desire, and you can do that without trying to be like anybody else. You can do that and build that being you, and using and maximizing your strengths instead of trying to build the things that are not very strong for you. That is usually from when we were in school happen. Like if we were in school and we have five subjects and we have three of them that were A plus, and then we have two of them that were C's or D's. What normally our parents, our teachers did, they make us put effort in the ones that were C's and D's because those are the ones that are low. But instead is what is going to happen if you put extra effort in the ones that are already A's for you, the things that are already easy for you, the things that are already natural for you. So then you start nurturing that superpower that you have in yourself to shine for your own magic and what makes you
That's
unique.
beautiful. You're giving us the gift to stop comparing yourself because you're unique. You have your very own personal traits, and our brain compares because it's trying to keep us alive. That's the only reason your brain compares, because if it is danger, you have to take cover. And now in society, we don't have a tiger or a lion walking around on the streets. Now we have each other. And sometimes, our brain tends to compare, the mom that is taking the boy to soccer games, basketball games, and you might not be doing that. But your brain is comparing and you might feel the guilt, right? And you're giving us the gift to know, hey, you are unique, you have gifts, you have talents. So learn to reinforce those talents and stop comparing ourselves because we are unique and we're bringing different gifts than the neighbor across the street.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. Archetypes, A types. I'm going to have to dive more into this archetypes because as you were talking, I was thinking, oh, my husband could be this, and that. So tell us about self awareness. That's what another word that comes to my mind. You're bringing us the gift tonight to develop the self awareness, of our archetypes, the personal traits.
I believe that self-awareness is a forever journey. I think that it doesn't matter when we jump into that journey. It doesn't matter if I jump in that journey when I was 15 years old in Colombia when I start self-development. It doesn't matter if you jump at 15 or at 30 or at 40 or at 52 or at 62. Is whenever you jump into that, it is a journey that never ends. It ends when you die because it's a constant daily journey of alignment of who we are inside and how we interact with external. And the most important part, in my opinion, of self-awareness, that I've been doing this for over 20 years, and still there are days that I don't do it. Is that part of silence the noise and trust that inner wisdom, that self-awareness of what make me happy, what make me thrive, what make me smile, not what Instagram is saying, not what Facebook is saying, not what the internet is saying, what make me happy. And then from there start honoring that self-awareness and that power into really being curious about who we are. And I say that it's a journey because I almost make a parallel with a baby for the ones that are moms. When you have a baby, as soon as you start getting used to it, to the routine and what is working for the baby grows and everything changes, and then you have to start from zero. And then you start getting everything, and then the baby change, and you have to start from zero. It's the same with our self awareness. As more we start getting aware, as more we start understanding that, as more we are aware, as more we grow, and as more we keep going. One of my favorite books is Juan Salvador Gaviota, Jonathan Siegel, I think that is in English, and they talk about a spiral up. Is we don't have a destination, we have a journey of spiraling up. As more we know ourselves, as more layers of the onion we peel, and we discover deeper and deeper parts that create that amazing, powerful, magic soul that we are right now living a physical
That
experience.
is beautiful because life continues to change. We go through stages. We're going to continue to go through, through stages after our babies are grown, and they move out, they go to school, they get married, learn to uh, get along with whoever they bring, whoever they choose to marry, right? And then kids, never been like grandma before, but whenever that happens, oh, gotta learn uh, to play that role and play it well, to play full out always. So thank you so much. I have so much more to ask, and time is gone. We only have a few minutes left. I so appreciate you being here with us today, and hopefully you come back because I still want to ask you questions about what has been your challenges in the past that you were able to conquer because of archetypes. I know you have many, so maybe we leave these questions for next time. And where can we find you?
Okay, thank you so much. That was amazing. Super happy to chat with you about this. And then, if anybody wants to hear a little bit more about me and learn about the unicorn magic, you can find me at Joe Unicorn Coach, like it's in the screen. I am like that in Facebook and in Instagram, and I handle my own social media. So I will be super happy for you to send me a message. And if you have any questions about the episode, about what I talked with Pau, I am here to serve
Yes,
you.
and you can. What's the name of your TV show so that they can find it on YouTube?
And the name of my TV show is Mom Fed with Joe Peters.
Yes, English and Spanish. So she has both in English and Spanish. Is there a last message you would love to leave our audience with?
I will invite you to go into a little pond or lake and look at your reflection and start being curious about remembering that horn, that magic that you are, that unicorn. Because, my love, you are not a horse. You are a freaking unicorn, and you need to live your life like a unicorn.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your time, because I know your time is valuable. So I so appreciate your time, your wisdom, and you have to come back and educate us more about archetypes and your journey. This show can be heard. You can go to my YouTube channel, Paola Guthrie, and you can watch the replay, share it with someone you think it will benefit. This information will benefit. So thank you all so much for being here. This show can also be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Blessings, and we'll see you soon.